Good day and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News at 12. I am Lee Whitman Joanna. Now the news in details. A deadly gun attack occurred at an immigration center in Dallas, Texas. A gunman opened fire at the facility before killing himself. The report.
This incident follows a series of similar attacks on such facilities across the U.S. in recent months. The FBI reported finding anti-government messages on bullet casings, but officials state the exact motive remains unknown. The Department of Homeland Security confirms that apart from the gunman who died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, there were 3 other victims. 2 detainees at ICE were killed and another is in critical condition. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is the U.S. federal agency responsible for enforcing immigration laws. There is significant controversy surrounding ICE's tactics, which has led many politicians to call for a toning down of rhetoric. ICE agents often cover their faces to protect their identities and have been responsible for aggressive mass deportations under Donald Trump, frequently targeting immigrants without criminal records, which has created fear in immigrant communities. The same facility experienced an incident in July where a man was arrested for attempting to bomb it, with 10 people subsequently charged. Members of the Trump administration, including DJ Vance, condemned the attack, describing it as a targeting of law enforcement, particularly ICE, and stating it must stop. However, the actual motive of the shooter remains unknown. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
An Australian horror film has sparked backlash in China after it was discovered that scenes featuring a same-sex couple were digitally altered to depict a heterosexual couple, together starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie, was screened in selected Chinese cinema on 12 September. Viewers noticed the changes when screenshots of the original scenes began circulating online, revealing the modifications. The film was due to publicly released on 19 September, but as of Thursday has yet been aired in cinema. The film's global distributor, Neon, later condemned the edit, saying they did not approve this unauthorized edit and demand they cease distribution. According to reports, the supernatural body horror film, written and directed by Australian Michael Shanks, followed a couple who moved to the countryside and find themselves encountering a mysterious force that imparts their bodies, lives, and relationship. The film, which first premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January and released in US and Australia in July, has received largely positive reviews from critics, aiming a 90% freshness score on film review site Rotten Tomatoes. But as soon as the advanced screening began in China this month, viewers noticed that some sex and nudity scenes has been modified after screenshots showing scenes from the original version circulated online. In one scene which pictured the male lead in the shower, they noticed that the Chinese version has added stream stops called the lead's news body. Most complaints, however, were about an image featuring a gay couple and being digitally altered, with a man's face replaced by a woman's. Several references to the same-sex relationship in the film were also removed. It's not uncommon for China, where same-sex marriage isn't recognized, and LGBT topics remain largely taboo to censor LGBT content. But this time, the use of what appeared to be AR-generated alterations struck a nerve. This is no longer just a matter of cuts, it's a matter of distortion and misrepresentation, leads one post on popular Chinese film critic platform Douban, where the movie has a rating of 6.9 out of 10. U.S. airstrikes targeting suspected drug trafficking boats in Caribbean Sea are an act of tyranny. Colombia President Gustavo Petro said in an interview he also called for legal actions against U.S. officials if investigations confirm that Colombian citizens were killed in the strikes. Speaking on Wednesday, Pedro said there should be zero deaths in stopping speedboats believed to be involved in drug smuggling. We have a long history of collaborating with American agencies and other agencies of carrying out maritime seizures of cocaine. He said, no one has ever died before. There is no need to kill anyone. He added that the principle of the proportionality of force is violated if you use anything more than a pistol. The strikes in international waters have primarily focused on Colombia's neighbor, Venezuela, according to Trump administration, but the U.S. has provided little details about targets and individuals killed, and it reports that members of Trendy Ogar gang were on the first attack boat are in dispute. Democratic lawmakers in Washington have demanded answers from the White House over legality of the strikes, which United Nations experts have described as extrajudicial executions.
This chamber is a silent witness and an accomplice to a genocide in today's world. The young people killed by missiles in the Caribbean did not belong to the Tren de Aragua. Perhaps nobody here even knows their names, nor to Hamas. They were from the Caribbean, possibly Colombians. And if they were Colombians, with apologies to those who dominate the United Nations, criminal proceedings should be opened against those U.S. officials responsible, including the top official who gave the order, President Trump. Migration is an excuse for a rich, white, racist society to believe itself the superior race and to ignore that its leaders are taking it, together with all humanity, to the brink of its own extinction.
More than 18 Palestinians were killed by Israeli fire across the Gaza Strip on Wednesday, most of them in Gaza City. Local hospitals said women and children were among at least 20 who died when a strike hit a building and tents, sheltering displaced families near Firas Market in Gaza City's central Duraj neighborhood overnight, according to first responders. The report.
The Israeli military said it struck 2 Hamas fighters and that the number of casualties did not align with its own information. Meanwhile, Israeli tanks and troops continued their advance into the heart of the city, which Israel says is the last stronghold of Hamas. The military has said the ground offensive aims to secure the release of hostages still held by Hamas and ensure the Palestinian armed groups' decisive defeat. Hundreds of thousands of residents have so far fled Gaza's biggest urban center, where a famine was confirmed last month by a UN-backed body. But hundreds of thousands more remain there in dire humanitarian conditions, with health and other essential services collapsing. In a separate development, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said President Donald Trump had presented a 21-point plan for peace in the Mideast and Gaza to a group of Arab and Muslim leaders on the sidelines of UN General Assembly in New York on Tuesday. Witkoff gave no details about the plan but said it addressed Israeli concerns as well as the concerns of all the neighbors in the region. Hospitals in Gaza City said on Wednesday afternoon they had received the bodies of more than 60 people killed by Israeli strikes and gunfire since midnight. The Hamas-run civil defense agency said a third of the fatalities were the result of an Israeli strike on a warehouse sheltering displaced people near Firas Market, and that 6 women and 9 children were amongst them. International journalists, including those from the BBC, are blocked by Israel from entering Gaza independently, so it is difficult to verify the reports. But video footage from the scene showed people removing a body wrapped in a blanket from the rubble of a destroyed building. Mohammed Hajjaj, whose relatives were amongst the dead, told the AFP news agency that the site was hit by heavy bombing while people were asleep. I am Gosgift Omone, reporting for BeeTv News.
Danish authorities have provided an update following drone activity that disrupted airspace across the country. Defense Minister Troels Lund Poulsen stated that the incident appears to involve a professional actor and described the drone interference as a hybrid attack. The drones were launched locally. The Defense Minister later added there is no evidence of Russian involvement. The Justice Minister, Peter Hemlard, also called the drones a hybrid attack, adding that they were designed to create fear. Eriborg Airport in the north of the country was temporarily closed when drones were seen. 3 other smaller airports in southern region, Exberg, Sonderborg, and Skystrup, also reported drone activity, but were not closed. Earlier this week, Copenhagen Airport was forced to close due to drone incursion. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen also said Russian involvement could not be ruled out. A woman whose body was found in Spain over 2 decades ago has been identified through an international police initiative. On Thursday, authorities named her as 31-year-old Russian citizen Lyudmila Zavada. She is the 3rd person to be identified under Operation Identify Me, a campaign launched in 2023 to help uncover the identities of women who were murdered or died under suspicious or unexplained circumstances across Europe. The first case was a British woman murdered in Belgium, whose family identified her after seeing a photograph of her tattoo. Valdesi Ogweza, Secretary General of International Policing Agency, Interpol, which leads the campaign, said the latest identification would give fresh hope to the families and friends of missing persons and new leads to investigators. After 20 years, an unknown woman has been given back her name. Ms. Zavada's body was discovered in July 2005 beside a road in the province of Barcelona in northern Spain. She was referred to by police as the woman in pink because she was dressed in a pink floral top, pink trousers, and pink shoes. Local police said the cause of death was suspicious, as evidence suggested that the body has been moved in the 12 hours before it was found. But investigations failed to uncover her identity last year. The case was added to Operation Identify Me, which has seen black notice seeking information about unidentified bodies released to the public for the first time, and records such as fingerprints shared with police forces around the world. Earlier this year, Turkish police ran the fingerprints through a national database uncovering Ms. Zavada's identity. A DNA test match was established with a close relative in Russia. Police investigation into Ms. Zavada's death and the circumstances around it are continuing. The first woman identified through the campaign was 31-year-old Rita Roberts from Wales, who was murdered in Belgium in 1992. Her family said they had worried for decades not knowing what had happened to her. Earlier this year, a woman found dead in poultry shed in Spain was identified as 33-year-old Anion Izaga Ibita Liman from Paraguay in South America. The circumstances surrounding her death was described as police unexplained. Police are still trying to find the identities of another 44 women found dead in the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, and Spain. The majority of them are murdered victims believed to have been between the age 15 and 13. Interpol said increased global migration and human trafficking has led to more people being reported missing outside their countries, which can make identifying bodies more challenging. An official at the agency said that women were disproportionately affected by gender-based violence, including domestic violence, sexual assault, and trafficking. And now we'll be going on a short break. Do stay with us.
Today, we raise our voices, our hearts, and our songs in celebration of our Ariadne, a woman of substance, a pillar of excellence, Mrs. Sonia Louis Ulame, a mother with a golden heart, a leader with vision, a friend to many, and a shining light to all. On this special day, we celebrate your grace, your wisdom, your kindness, and the countless lives you continue to inspire. Happy birthday, my dear wife, Mrs. Sonia Louis Ulame. May your days overflow with joy, your path with success, and your years with endless blessings. Today, tomorrow, and always, I will always celebrate you. Congratulations, my dear wife, for clocking another 365 days on planet Earth. This message is from your husband, Mr. Louis Ulame, Okaigele of Ohun Community.
My people of Edo State, development is not a miracle. It is the result of responsibility and action. You want good roads, quality hospitals, schools, jobs for our youth? Then you must understand this simple truth. Government cannot perform without your tax. Government will fix schools, build roads, light up communities if the people pay their tax. That's how governance works. It is not about politics. It is about progress. When you pay your tax, you are not helping the government. You are helping yourself. You are helping your family and your future. Don't wait to be chased. Do the right thing. Be part of building the new Edo State. Pay your tax with pride. Let us build Edo together. This message is brought to you by Edo State Internal Revenue Service,
EIRS, Administering Revenue for Service and Development.
Special invitation, 10 years of fond memories. The MU Odubu and Osunde families, both of Orion local government area of Edo State, specially invite you to the 10-year memorial Thanksgiving service of our daughter, wife, mother, and grandmother, Mrs. Imwegbeyogo Odubu, taking place on Sunday, the 28th day of September 2025 at St. Francis Catholic Church, College Road off Ekema Road, Benin City, Edo State at 8:30 a.m. The Thanksgiving service will be followed by a reception thereafter at Gloria Garden, Frederick Hall, number 14, Commercial Avenue off Ikpopan Road, GRA, Benin City, Edo State at 1 p.m. Mommy, 10 years ago seems like just 10 days ago. We miss you now and always. However, we are consoled by the good legacy you left behind and the motherly care and advice that you gave us. Continue to rest our dear mommy until we meet again to part no more. Signed, His Excellency, Right Honorable Dr. Pius Igberare Odubu, former Deputy Governor, Edo State.
Welcome back, and now to business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has identified poor handling and abuse of Naira banknotes as a major factor driving up the cost of currency printing and replacement. The CBN made this known during the launch of a nationwide sensitization campaign on Naira notes handling held in Abuja. BeeTv News, Esewe Osemige for more details.
Represented by senior officials from the Currency Operations and Branch Management Department, the bank emphasized that the Naira is not only a means of exchange, but also a national symbol of pride and unity. The CBN attributed increased expenses in currency management to practices such as forwarding, mutilation, spraying at event, writing on banknotes, and other form of mishandling. The sensitization campaign themed Naira Our Pride, Handle with Care, is aimed at promoting proper currency handling and fostering behavioral change among citizens. The initiative targets widespread participation from stakeholders, including banks, market operators, transport unions, civil society, religious institutions, and the media. According to the CBN, currency insurance expenses encompasses printing, distribution, processing, and disposal. These costs have risen significantly due to the frequent replacement of damaged notes and the logistics involved in redistributing currency. Analysts also link the rise in cost to the reprinting of redesigned notes and growing destruction of unfit currency. The bank plans to extend the campaign across all 36 state and local communities to instill collective responsibility in preserving the value and dignity of the Naira. The CBN also urged commercial banks to circulate only fit notes and ensure customers are educated on proper note handling. Polaris Bank has organized a global trade forum aimed at strengthening business relationships in the non-oil sector, addressing trade challenges and providing innovative solutions to support business expansion. The forum was held under the theme Trade Export, Partnering for Growth. The event brought together exporters, corporate clients, policy influencers, government agencies and regulators, including representatives from the Nigerian Customs Service. Discussions at the forum focused on export readiness, trade financing, market access, compliance and the integration of digital tools in cross-border transactions. Polaris Bank's leadership reaffirmed the bank's commitment to supporting trade and export businesses through financial advisory, innovative banking solutions and collaborative partnerships. It also used the forum to identify customer pain points in trade facilitation and present practical ways the bank can support the operations. The Nigerian Customs Service used this platform to demonstrate the functionality of the Nigerian Trade Portal and BeeTv, showing how these digital platforms enhance transparency and streamline trade procedures. The agency addressed specific issues raised by some participants, promising prompt resolutions. The forum also featured the participation of Polaris Bank's executive directors overseeing retail, commercial, corporate and investment banking segment, underscoring the bank's institutional commitment to trade development in Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Bank of Agriculture to immediately clear outstanding debts totaling 30 billion naira owed to agro dealers and input suppliers under the National Agriculture Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket Program. The directive follows the release of funds by the African Development Bank, marking the second tranche designated for the 2024 dry and wet season agricultural programs. The federal government has also designated BOA as a custodian of all funds related to agricultural financing initiative. The BOA has begun the disbursement process in collaboration with the NAX-HAB Secretariat with a target to complete payment within 24 hours of verification using its electric wallet system. The bank will also provide weekly progress updates to track the payment schedule. Eligible agro dealers and suppliers are required to have BOA account for payment processing. Registration is free and accessible online. The BOA has outlined specific eligibility conditions to ensure only pre-qualified and compliant beneficiaries receive payment. The move is expected to stabilize the agricultural input supply chain, improve productivity, and enhance national food security. President Tinubu has also reiterated Nigerians' commitment to removing bureaucratic barriers in the agricultural sector, as discussed in a recent bilateral meeting with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The president emphasized Nigerians' focus on agricultural reforms and export development, leveraging the sector's competitive advantage to strengthen economic diversification. My name is Esohe Osamegi, reporting from the business scene.
And lastly, on sport news, African table tennis giants Nigeria and Egypt will lead the charge for qualifications to the 2026 ITTF World Team Championship in London, United Kingdom, as the continent's top team convey in Tunisia for the 2025 ITTF African Championship from October 12 to 19. Let's join BeeTv News correspondent Freeman Osawe for more, and this from Sportword.
Africa's table tennis giants Nigeria and Egypt will lead the charge for qualification to the 2026 ITTF World Team Championship in London, United Kingdom, as the continent's top teams converge in Tunisia's capital for the 2025 ITTF African Championships from October 12 to 19. London 2026 marks a historic centenary celebration, returning the World Championships to the city where it all began in 1926. The Tunis tournament serves as the official African qualification event, with the top performing men's and women's teams securing their place on the sport's grandest stage. In the men's division, Nigeria, West African dominant force, and Egypt, the North African powerhouse, will be joined by the Tunisia, Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Madagascar, Uganda, Ethiopia, South Africa, Angola, Cameroon, Congo-Brazzaville, Benin Republic, Dr. Congo, and Morocco. Liverpool faced tough tests at Arokodare's Wolves take on Chelsea. The fourth round of the Carabao Cup has been set with some massive all-Premier League showdowns and intriguing ties for the competition's underdogs. All matches are scheduled to be played during the week of October 27. Premier League champions Liverpool will face FA Cup winners Crystal Palace in a clash of two of England's top side. Meanwhile, holders Newcastle United are set to host Tottenham in another high-profile matchup. SCA Arsenal, who have not won the competition since 1993, face a difficult home tie against Brighton, and Wolves will host Chelsea in an all-Premier League affair. The draw also created some exciting prospects for the lower league teams still in the competition. Greensby Town, the only League Two side remaining after stunning Manchester United, securing another home game against Premier League club Brentford. Femke Boy on Sydney McLaughlin Levron's 400-meter world title. Following an historic performance by Sydney McLaughlin Levron at the Tokyo 2025 World Championship, fierce hurling rival Femke Boy opened up on her feelings and why she would love to race her toughest competitor at Ganga. Dutch hurling queen Femke Boy is optimistic about racing her fierce rival Sydney McLaughlin Levron again in the 400-meter hurdles after the American star athlete switched events this year and won 400-meter world title in Tokyo. The duo, who have been the most dominant force in the women's 400-meter hurdles event in the past 4 years, saw their rival take a pause this year when McLaughlin Levron decided to face a new challenge by switching to the 400-meter flag. And that's it on sport news for this hour. Thanks for watching. Freeman Usa will reporting for BeeTv News.
And that'll be all on our bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more updates. I am Lee Whipman Joanna. Bye for now.
Religion.